back to another edition of He Said, She Said. Tonight should be fun, if not a little fun roasting on each other. We are both of, we've been the married and divorced route and all that fun stuff in different relationships. And the topic for this evening is it possible to have a friendship post-relationship? Whether it was, marriage, long-term relationship, whether you have children, not children, really doesn't matter. We're just going to kind of go in and around all of that and, maybe some fact-finding and maybe just some of our opinions, which is what this show is about. And trust me, they do not always mesh. So, we will be dealing with that. So, what do you think about that?
Think about what? I wasn't listening.
You are such a liar.
No, I wasn't listening. I was totally, I was enthralled with the cartwheel. I was like, I'll get the show started, then she'll talk, and I got time to do stuff over here. And
no,
now you're.
It's not how that works.
Oh, it's the dog.
Yeah, my dog's in the studio today. He's a big, beautiful Rottweiler that thinks he is a tiny little thing. He's a year old, and he's 130 pounds. So, he's just a little lap dog. And he just scared the crap out of Jeremy because he climbed under our studio table and just started sniffing him.
Yeah, that was a little awkward.
Keeps you on your toes.
Yeah. You'll say, yeah.
At least you're sitting down. You didn't get a good old Christmas goose.
Oh, yeah, no.
That'll make you jump. I swear he's big enough. I'm going to saddle his ass and ride him into battle. Charge!
That would be funny.
But
that would be funny.
Except, like I said, he does not know how big he is. He, today, just sitting up in my lap like, oh, this is fine, Mom. And I'm like, can anyone find me? Because I'm under the dog somewhere. Can't breathe. I can't breathe. But he's a sweetheart.
Oh, it doesn't work. I hit the thing twice, and I didn't. The timing was totally off. So now it's too much time has elapsed.
See
between
what happens when you just do nothing but stare at the cart wall? I didn't hear that.
Well, you didn't hear that because I've got the wrong thing slid up again. and
I should have been a bit more alert.
That's the problem right there.
Yeah. For the whole show, apparently, this is going to be tricky.
Quiet, woman.
That is not a possibility.
Yeah. Oh, I believe it.
So, yeah. I've never been the meek, mild one. Not once have I ever been accused of that. Oh, look at him. He's thinking, oh, he's getting out of timing and see it doesn't work. The board hates you.
You're a daisy if you do.
You're a daisy if you do. But, like I said, we're going to be talking about...
I was shooting for the too high-strung one, but missed it.
Yeah. The relationships and... especially if you have a long-term relationship with kids, can you have, friendship afterwards? I mean, because a lot of relationships start out as you were friends before, then you started to date, and then things progressed, and then all of a sudden things went to shit.
Right. And
then you've got to figure out, well, can we still be friends? Can we be friends again? How do we go about doing that? So that's kind of some of the things that we will talk about this evening on how, and we have gotten some feedback from some listeners, and we can go over those as well, because I think they're very valid, strong points. So, I don't know, when do you want to go into our first break here in the next minute or so, or how do you want to do this?
Since we kind of come in, so we'll hold off about 5 more minutes on the break. We'll wait until about 20 past. And
yeah, we gotta make the bosses happy.
Yeah, as long as we get them in. As long as we get them in, it's okay.
Okay. Well, first thing that I will say is just generally speaking, do you think it's possible to have friendship after a relationship?
As a rule of thumb, I'm going to say no, but there are extenuating circumstances, and one of the biggest ones is going to be children. Mm-hmm. I think you as a parent have a responsibility to get along with the other parent.
Right.
So you almost have to. It's always been my policy, when kids weren't involved, that when I'm done with you, I am done with you.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
There is a reason you are an ex.
Yeah. And that goes along with, why did you get divorced? That has a lot to do with it as well. Why the relationship ended.
I'm not saying just divorce. I'm just talking about relationships.
Well, why the relationship ended. Like, even dating,
Right.
Because, like I said, I have an ex-husband that I haven't spoken to since before the divorce was final. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
No children were involved, but it was a crash and burn scenario. Like, it was not
Right. It's not somebody
pretty.
you want to talk to anyway.
Right. Like, you're thinking, well, if you did that to me and you had the capability to do that to me, that's not even somebody that I would consider being a friend had we never met before,
Right. Yeah.
Like, regardless, like, if you can do that to somebody, you're a douche canoe, and I don't need to have you in my life at all. So, and then there are exes, that you do keep in your life. Like, when children are involved, it's very, very important to at least, if not be friends, to at least be civil, which we discussed that last night.
Yeah.
There are civilities that need to be followed. If you can't be friends, because you just have too many butt-head areas and it's just too stressful, you at least have to be civil for the kids.
Yes.
Because it's not their fault. They didn't ask for it. They didn't ask for the parents that they got. They sure as hell didn't ask for the split up. So they should not have to deal with it. And I've seen so many times where parents use the children as leverage or as a counterweight to their argument.
Right.
It's
not the kid's fault
right.
that, mommy's crazy or daddy's an asshole.
Right.
It just is the way it is.
It just happens. And sometimes, mommy's crazy and daddy's asshole at once. They, were very powerful together. Now it's like magnets. They're just going to shoot away from each other. Mm-hmm. And that's nobody's fault. I mean,
get out of the trash.
Shit happens. In every relationship. So I don't think any one person has sole blame at all, ever. I don't think that's how it goes. I think there are levels, and I think there are levels on everybody's part. But it is, I don't know. I mean, it's tricky, because I've been in this situation. It's very tricky to be friends after a divorce. I think the main thing you have to learn there that there are still hot button topics that you just don't bring up.
Right.
If you know that that's the one that's just going to get under that person's skin, because you know them well, you know them intimately, so you know what's going to chap them.
Yeah.
Okay, if I want to start a fight or make you look like a fool, I'm just going to say this, and then you're going to snap.
Yeah, you're going to lose your ever-loving mind.
Right. You have to remember that, because if you are trying to sabotage somebody, you're not their friend.
Right.
You want the upper hand, is what it is, and that's not something you want to have in a friendship. There shouldn't ever be a battle for the upper hand. It shouldn't be that way in marriage, but let's just face it, it is.
Yeah,
it is.
It is on occasion. I mean,
but if you want to remain friends with somebody, because at a friendship, someone can just be like, wash my hands of you, I'm done.
Right.
Walk away. There are no ties. However, when there are children involved, that gets a little tricky. I don't know how, unless one of the parents just backs away and says, you know what, I'm over it, I don't want nothing to do with it, which I can't understand at all for the life of me. But that's the only way I could see never having to speak to, an ex, a baby daddy, whatever again.
Right.
But that to me means that person's a piece of shit, because they don't want anything to do with their kids.
Right.
Because you or I would fight to the death, to see our kids. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, ding ding, round 2, here we go, But some people don't. I don't understand. I don't. But all right, well, we're gonna go ahead and go on a short break here in just a few seconds or so. But we'll come back with it.
Oh, you want it to be a short break?
Huh?
You want it to be a short break?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, we did take longer breaks last week because you were trying to commit suicide with jalapenos.
Oh, that was not good.
Yeah, well, it'll be about a.
I wasn't committing suicide. The Mexican restaurant tried to kill me.
Yeah.
Kill this little cracker.
That's what you keep saying.
Gringa.
That's what you keep saying.
Uh-huh. Since when do you put jalapenos in guacamole? That's all I'm saying. Avocado, jalapeno.
I don't know.
They're not the same thing.
I hear guacamole and I think of, bat feces, so.
That's guano.
That's the same thing.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. It's just Mexican bat.
But yeah, there was jalapenos in the guacamole, and I was like, well, this is a never thing. Okay. But yeah, I took a bite into that, and I was like, holy shit, my sinuses are clear. Oh, I mean, my husband, who eats hot peppers, like, all the time, and wants the chili spicy enough to blow out your asshole, he bit into it, and it made his eyes water and shit, so I didn't feel so bad. Like, I was like, okay, your nose is running too. All right, it's not just me. But, yeah, we might...
Quiet, woman.
You're going to get shit thrown at you. I swear to God. I came in here going to be like,
there.
you know what? I'm going to play nice. Well, that shit's done.
Oh, well, okay. That's fun too, I guess.
That shit's done. So, keep it up and I'll be your ex-wife's favorite person tonight, because I will be mean.
She can be mean enough for both of you.
Yeah, there's that.
She can be.
Yeah. Well, any of us can, especially when you hit the hot buttons.
Well, you know.
Those under the skin buttons.
I tend to have that effect on women.
Yeah.
I can't imagine why.
Because you're an asshole.
That is true. I'm not going to deny that.
My husband's number 1, so you have to be number 2. And when we go on break, I have to go see what my dog just got into because he comes trucking out of my office.
Yeah, and I heard shit falling in there. So, you know.
All right, well, we will be back in just a couple. Some of the music there, and I had to, basically shove my hand down my dog's throat because he decided a clothespin was what he wanted to eat for supper today. I swear to God, he's going to poop out a birdhouse one of these days. Was I even on the whole time?
Yeah, you're on.
Okay, you're over there messing with buttons. I was like, what are
no,
you
you're on. It just
because last time I was like talking, you're like, oops, I forgot to turn your mic on.
No, I got you.
Okay,
it's okay.
But so now he's sitting here pouting beside me.
Is he?
Yeah, because I'm eating cookies and he wants them.
Well, I can relate.
Yeah. Yeah, 2 little pieces. That's all he gets. He's really not supposed to have people food, but...
And he's fine.
Sorry, honey, if you're listening. Sorry, I fed him cookies. It's fine. But, he's being alright. He's being a good boy. Ooh, so, let me get on our Facebook page here real quick while I'm thinking about it.
And?
Huh?
And do what?
I want to read a comment that was there.
Oh.
From,
We had, the whole break to get that ready.
You can hush. I had to go chase down and choke my dog. Because that's a thing.
I should have been a bit more alert.
Uh-huh. Well, I mean, I don't want to misquote is why I'm looking for it. Well, you could pull it up on that dang screen right over there.
I could, but you're already working on it.
Yeah, have you seen my Facebook? It's a train wreck because I'm very rarely on it. You probably already have our pages pulled up.
No, actually I don't.
Let's see. Let's do it the easy way.
Do.
You can hush. How about you use your word hole and talk for a little bit while I look for this?
Well, what comment? I mean, were you looking at, or were you wanting to look up? Is it an
Well, it
inbox?
was one on our... no, it was on the He Said, She Said page.
Well, that's what I'm on now, I just didn't know if it was something in the inbox or a comment.
Oh, wait a minute. It might have been posted, too, because my husband posted on there, to listen to it, and one of our friends posted on that. So that's what I had before. Hang on. I'll find it. I'm like a fucking squirrel. I swear to God.
Oh, boy. Do.
Here's...
Look like somebody just walked over your grave.
No.
Yeah, I don't know what you're saying about it being on the old wall here, but...
No, I think it's...
I think the only comment on something that was posted was a comment I made about how we're supposed to be doing a live show.
Yeah, no, there's...
And with it now comes the...
All right, I know if you're listening, darling. Why don't you send that to me or at least let me know where I'm going with it? Because I was looking and now it's not there, so I'm not even sure where to look.
Well, there's obviously a female around.
You're going to get punched. Like, this is not even a joke.
You're distracted by Facebook.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. Totally distracted by Facebook.
Yeah, probably. But, what are you doing? You're making it do that hissy noise again.
Nope, I fixed it. I just quit touching it.
Uh-huh.
It was fun.
Well, that'll work. If you quit touching shit. No! God damn it. Stop it.
No, I touched it.
Well, he's over there touching things, and it was like making it crackle. And as soon as he quit, it quit, so... Okay.
So...
you know where you put this week's topics would include? I found it.
Did you?
Yeah. Can you have friendships after a failed relationship? Okay.
I need a celebration.
Mick posted on there that he said it's not easy. There should be some mourning over the loss of the relationship and defined borders afterward. Otherwise, it's just cruel and unusual punishment of the heart and mind. It can happen, but it is usually a negative end with one side feeling used. Any time together should be all Dutch treat too, because paying for just friends isn't what going to dinner with the love of your life is all about. Okay, I can agree with some of that, and I don't agree with some of that. Surprise, surprise. I do agree that you need to mourn because it is a loss you need to grieve. Because the loss of a relationship that was that important to you, it's like a death. Like, it's a death of something that you had that was beautiful. So you need time to mourn. You need time to heal for whatever reason. I mean, you're going to have pain. It doesn't matter the reason for the separation. There's always going to be that pain there that is going to take time to heal. Because if you haven't got through the grieving process and you haven't healed, you can't go back to being friends because in the back of your mind or the back of that person's mind of, well, we're talking now, so we're going to get back together or we're going to do this or that. You have to tread carefully when doing it. I don't think... I'm not sure about the cruel and unusual punishment part of it. I mean, I guess if you don't set boundaries and, one person has it in their brain that this is just friendship and the other person has it as we're dating or something like that would be cruel. If you don't say, no, this is what it is and that's all it is, I think that needs to be established. Like, okay, we can be friends, but we have to be sure that that's how it remains. Because we obviously, didn't do, such a bang-up job with being more than friends.
And it makes it difficult, too, when they're like, well, we don't know what the future will bring.
Right,
well,
and that's...
Okay.
At that point, that's when it's hard to be friends with somebody because you can't set parameters and you can't set a healing process. Because it's all up in the air. So that makes it extremely, extremely difficult.
Yeah.
So... and then, and I do agree that if you're going out with someone, lunch, dinner, anything like that, and it should be Dutch. That way there's no, I don't want to say feelings of entitlement, but I don't want, someone to be like, oh, well, we're going on a date because they're paying, or, well, he paid for my dinner, so is it, or she paid for the dinner, so they're expecting something in return. So I think just for the comfort zone of everyone involved, going Dutch would probably be the best thing. Not necessarily saying you have to take your own car, and all that, because that would just be dumb. But, unless you had something that you had to do afterwards. Say you had, as soon as I leave here, I got to pick up my kid from school.
Right.
Okay, I get that. Where's my dog? There he is.
You're chewing on something that looks expensive.
But, paying separately would be the way to go. At least in my experience. I mean, as far as comfort level.
I don't know. I could see, somebody wouldn't take somebody to lunch, I'll get it, and then maybe they get it next time, or, they get it all the time. I don't think there has to be an expectation of anything.
Well, no, but I mean, as far as comfort levels go, I think that Dutch would probably be the way to go. Just because that way there's no inflections put on it.
Well, yeah, but I mean, who actually, hey, let's go get lunch. Well, okay, but I don't have the money to spend. Well, then, who, if I had planned on you paying, I wouldn't ask you to lunch.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It just, I don't know. That's.
I mean,
I think I'm different though.
Well, I mean, if it was like you said, and I pay this time, you pay next time. That I don't see a problem with because that's almost like Dutch. I mean, it's all or nothing, whatever. But I'm just kind of stuck on the line about because paying is for just friends isn't what going to dinner with the love of your life is all about.
Well, that's
if you're
the
not
thing,
if you're not considering it the love of your life at that time, it's your friends. It's like, okay, you were the love of my life, and may always be, but at that point you have to separate it.
Well,
if you can't separate that, you can't be friends.
Yeah, and that's where it comes. I would say that if kids weren't involved, you're probably better off not being friends. If there are no kids involved, because I don't know anybody that could ever not have some form of jealousy or something.
Right, resentment.
Something along those lines to somebody that, that when you try to be friends afterwards. Yeah. I think when it's over, it's just fucking over.
Yeah.
There's no, well, let's just be friends. Well, fuck you.
Yeah, you don't want to be anything else,
it's, I don't know. I mean. But
when there's kids involved, there are certain things that you have to kind of just suck it up.
If there's kids involved, and if it's a weird circumstance where
you got to make it a special effort.
Yeah, there would have to be certain extenuating circumstances.
Per se.
Yeah.
No, what I mean.
Well, I mean, say. Shit.
What you mean is the reason for the breakup?
Right. Say the reason for the breakup. You
caught him cheating. Let's go there.
No, because that's cut and fucking dry. Fuck
that's
you.
What I'm saying.
Kick mud.
See, that's what I'm saying.
I'm saying extenuating circumstances.
No, you cannot be friends.
Right.
But,
no, I'm extenuating circumstances is shit.
I'm making you think.
Well, I'm not using personal examples.
No.
That's why.
No, we said we're not going to do that.
Right? Yeah. No, that was said from the word jump. Okay, say you're graduating high school, or you're getting ready to go to college. You've both been together, and then one of you is going one side,
Right.
one coast, the other one going to the other coast.
Right.
Long distance relationships, I don't give a shit what anybody says. They don't fucking work.
Especially when you're 18, 19
right.
years old. They don't work
they
for
don't work when
grown-ass
you're
adults.
30, 40 years
Yeah.
old. They don't work. So say something like, okay, well, you both still care about each other,
Right.
but you got to go do this. So then, 4 years later, 8 years later, whatever you're going to school for, you come back and, well,
They moved on.
maybe you stayed in contact, but as like pen pals or whatever. I don't think anybody does that anymore, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And you pick up not necessarily exactly where you left off, but I could see
Getting
something
back
like
together.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not really anybody's fault that the
Right.
breakup
There was
happened.
it was not a contentious breakup. It
right.
was, this is life circumstances.
Right.
Right.
So I could see something like that, but no, cheating and shit.
Yeah.
Kick
that's
mud. Fuck off.
Well,
I'm
that's
done.
why the one husband and I, we don't speak.
Right.
Because that was not cool. I'm like, deleted, Control-Alt-Delete, Control-Alt-Delete.
There are far fewer circumstances for people to have been in a relationship of any type and still remain and be able to be friends afterwards than there are. It's not that common. I know everybody. Well, let's just be friends. Oh, fuck off. It wasn't good enough. Fuck off. I'm done.
It does take time. Like I said, I think the main reason for me in relationship I had has been for the kids. I
Right.
have to at least stay civil. If
you
a
don't
friendship
have to.
comes back out of it later, because, it's not, these were people always that I'd been friends with for years before we ever started dating. So, to say just F you and all that, when there wasn't like, you didn't get divorced because of cheating, you didn't divorce because of that, you grew, apart. Or one day you wake up and you can't stand somebody. But when you have kids, sometimes it's...
Now, how does that work? You just wake up and can't stand somebody.
It's one of those things that...
Fuck, you've been with them so goddamn long already, and then
Well,
you
and
just
that's
wake
the
up one
thing.
day and magically they're not fucking delicious, or what?
Well, it's not that. I think it's...
I woke up on the wrong side of the bed today. Fuck you, you're out. No, hell that... No.
No.
Bitch, you nuts.
No, it grows and it grows and it grows and it grows, but in your brain, you're just trying to make excuses for it, and you're trying to reason it out, and then finally you just wake up one day and go, no, it doesn't make sense. All this shit that's happening is wrong. I've been putting up with it for too long. Like, that type. Not just wake
Okay.
up one day and be like, no, I like Cocoa Puffs today. No.
Yeah.
But, it's one of those things, the too many differences and too much...
You're talking about a slow build.
Yes, and too much
Okay.
to try and dig through and fix, because it's like dominoes.
A slow build's a little bit
Yeah.
different than rolling over and being civil.
Right. And it takes a while. Like, it takes a while after divorces for you to even be civil. My son's dad and I, it took us a long time to be really civil to each other. And we were friends for, 15 years before we ever dated. So, and it took us a long time to get back to speaking terms, let alone anything else. And there are still days where I know I want to choke the ever-living life out of him, and I'm sure it's the same way. But for my son, I would walk through fire. So, it's something that I'm willing to keep working on. Even though sometimes, and I know you're listening, but even though sometimes it makes me want to choke the living hell out of that man. But, and my husband now, like when we were divorced when our daughter was a baby, it was one of those things where we got married way too young, had no business being married. Shit, we weren't even old enough to buy our own alcohol. So the marriage lasted, let's just put the divorce lasted longer than the marriage. But it took us a very long time because there was a lot of anger there, a lot of hurt, a lot of anger. So it took us quite a while to get back to friendship. And I'm not saying everything was always smooth sailing, because there were still times to where it was screaming and shouting at each other over the phone, just like you'd have thought we were still, in a relationship. So sometimes it's hard to not cross that line and have old feelings come up. But any friendship is not going to be constantly smooth sailing. You could be friends with one of your very best girlfriends, and there's going to be days where you want to just go beat them into a mud puddle. But you don't. And then you talk about it and you get over it and you're fine. It's called being a friend. So, I mean, I think if you are willing and if your heart is in it, then you can be friends. But like I said, it's going to take a while, and it's not a magic button. It's not a thing where it's like, oh, well, 6 months down the road, well, I'll be fine. Everybody's different. And like I said, the circumstances of why you split are going to play really big into it. Like if it was a dirty split, angry split, good luck.
Yeah.
I mean, it may be possible, but it's going to be hard as hell because whoever did the other one wrong, or if you both did each other wrong, this cheating and revenge cheating and stuff that I don't agree with at all, because 2 wrongs do not make a right, and it just makes more anger. But good luck.
3 lefts do make a right.
Well, yeah, they do. But what I'm saying, though, is just if that's how it ended, like, you can try, but good luck. And then there's the thing where we said, can you be friends, and then should you be friends? Like, we're saying with children, you should probably try, but I also am a believer that if it was a contentious split, or if there was abuse in the relationship, or if there was, bad things, and that was the cause of the breakup, whether you're married, whether you were just in a relationship, whatever, then I don't think you should say, oh, for the kids we'll get along, because it's not going to happen, and then what are your kids going to think is normal?
Right.
That it's okay to be friends with someone who used to knock the shit out of you?
Right,
like,
and if there's abuse involved, you shouldn't be civil, and the kids shouldn't be in the situation anyway.
Right.
They shouldn't have any fucking contact.
Well, but that's not how it works, and you know that as well as I do, as much as it sucks.
Well, that's what brother-in-laws or brothers are for.
But, if it's a situation like that, then no, I think it needs to be a clean break, and if there is, visitation and stuff, it needs to be, okay, we meet at a public place, or, okay, well, my mom will drop them off with you, or, where you don't have to deal with your abuser, per se.
Right. Well, cops do standbys all the time.
Yeah, they do. And I think that's terrific. I think that's amazing. And it's, and it's honestly making their job easier because they can prevent it. And it's much easier to prevent something than to deal with it after it happens. That's a whole nother level of paperwork. So, yes, I mean, I'm a firm believer that you can be friends after a relationship, but it is going to take time. It's not magical. It's not like, oh, okay, well, we're divorced, but we're going to be friends right now. Right. No. It's going to be at least a year post-split, post-divorce, it's over. Like, I don't even care if people were not living together or whatever for a while. If they still had the intention and the hope of getting back together, you're still in a relationship. That's not considered a breakup period. So it's once that the paper has been signed or the lease has been changed, names have been changed. That is the point where you're like, okay, the relationship is now dead. I need time to grieve.
Well, and that works okay, except for, what about the people that, they look at the piece of paper like, well, that's just a piece of paper.
Well, but at least you have some sort of finality. It's like a doctor calling the code, They sign that paper. Well, that's dead.
But is it?
Well, it obviously is to one of you, in the relationship.
Right.
My ex and I had this argument quite a bit. He was like, well, it's just a piece of paper. And I'm like, yeah, well, it's a pretty important one. It's pretty binding.
Half your shit.
Yeah, it's pretty binding. No, and none of the divorces I ever did that. It was, you take what you came in with, I take what I came in with.
I wasn't saying you, I was just saying in general.
No, I'm just saying
There's an epidemic of gold-digging whores in this country, I'm just saying.
Well, and some of those are men. I've lost more shit that way. But, I never was that vindictive person, and I know a lot of women out there who are not that vindictive person, because when you just get done with it, you're just done with it. You just want out. It's at that point, like, I don't even care. Keep it all. I'm out. I don't want this anymore. So, but there are men and women who get into relationships. Sometimes they get into them for the good reasons, and other times it's like, nope, I see a paycheck, and oh, you think you're going to leave me now? Well, I'm going to get a lawyer, and you're going to pay for that, and you're going to pay for me to screw you over, basically. I've seen it happen where, and these men are paying outlandish child support because in our state, there is no alimony or spousal support payments that can be done, but...
Actually, there is.
Well,
Because I know a guy that had to pay spousal support for a long time.
Well, but they
didn't even have any kids.
They've kind of steered away from it. But they've wound it into, well, we'll just up the child support to make up for it. You have one child with this person, and they're taking almost your entire check every single week. I'm like, that's ridiculous. Plus, they had to pay for the lawyer fees for both. And I'm just like, that is cutthroat. That's what that is. Like, do you hate this person, or did you actually love them at one time? I mean, it's a fine line sometimes, but it's like, holy, they can't even afford a pot to piss in at this point because of all the child support and all this stuff. So, what's wrong? Who's over there?
I just kept hearing something over here. I thought he was in the trash can again.
Hang on. Bama.
Oh, he is. Yeah, he's behind the... Okay. He wasn't in the trash can. He was just wishing he had the trash can.
Here, sit. Good boy, sit. Nope, you sit by mom.
But...
There you go. But yeah, I mean, it's... and anyone's welcome to comment. I mean, neither one of us will take offense. Well, I can't speak for him. I won't take offense. If you disagree with me, I won't, or if you have a comment that's different than my own, you want to put it on the Facebook page or, even if you listen to the podcast, if you want to, put it on the Facebook page or email, which, all of that, we're more than happy to talk about. We're more than happy to answer. Like I said, it's not legal advice. We just have opinions out the wazoo. Mm. So, nope, sit. But... I mean, these are just my opinions. I think that it's possible to be friends, and when we come back from this next break, we'll discuss it more on the part of should you be. Yeah. Now that we've discussed the, you can, and it's tricky, and, it's like a tightrope.
You can, but it's probably more trouble than it's worth.
It's tricky, and it's like tightroping over, fire. No, I mean, it's worth your kids having.
Well, I meant without kids involved.
Right. Well, without kids involved, I've really never even considered having them as a friend.
I wouldn't. No, if kids weren't involved,
right.
It would
have just been wash your hands
of
it.
You know what?
Yeah.
You're nuts, or you're an asshole. I'm done.
Yeah.
Find somebody else.
I don't even have contact with past relationships where I don't have kids because you broke up for a reason. Like,
right.
It's just the kids make you a little more soft-hearted about it. You have to think about more than just yourself.
Right. Well, I went out of my way to cut that aspect of my life out just so I didn't have to worry about that shit.
Yeah.
So.
What do you mean as far as past relationships?
Past relationships, yeah. I mean.
Like dating and high school but yeah, I mean like.
7-year head game, shit like that.
Oh yeah, that fun stuff. Yeah.
Piss on that.
So. Okay, well, we'll go ahead and
take a break
then. Yeah, listen to some music, and then we will be back on shortly. All right, and we are back. Decided this is Squirrel Central this evening. I can't be too much of a squirrel, I know, because my dog will chase me, so that's not good. He's bigger than me. But we are back talking about post-relationship, if you can be, friends with that ex or not. And then, a lot of the times the question is, should you? Should you put yourself in the position to be hurt again? Should you put yourself out there? I'm really of a belief if there's not kids involved, then the answer to that would be no. There's a reason why you're not making it as a couple. So why would you put your feelings and all that, basically, let's put them on hold and go try and be friends. And then you got to worry about trying not to have those feelings like for one or the other worming their way back in there. And that's a whole lot of drama.
Right.
That's a whole lot of mess that you really don't need in your life. I mean, let's just stop the drama llama at the boat on that one. It's like, nope, no sir, you do not have the correct boarding passes, you're not coming along. No. If you have children, if it was an amicable split, or at least, one where after a year or so you don't hate each other's guts and, wouldn't pee on them to put them out if they were on fire, then, yeah, I would definitely, make a go of it. Yeah. But it shouldn't, even at that though, it shouldn't be one-sided. It shouldn't be one person putting in all the effort while the other person kind of just, steps back and reaps the benefits, or, oh, well, you want to take me out to dinner, or all this, or, you say you're going to do something as a family. Let's go shopping or do this as a family. Let's do that. and then one or the other keeps backing out or changing the times or changing the dates. My ex used to do that a lot. Oh, well, I've got this that came up, and, I can't do that today. And then, he'd turn around and be, well, let's just do this now. Like spur of the moment stuff. And I'm like, no. And you have to be careful, too, especially if you get remarried, Then you have to be careful of, okay, yes, this is my family, but I'm part of another family, too. You don't want to, ruin one by trying to repair something that's already broken. Does that make sense? You're trying to repair, basically, a friendship with your ex.
Oh, yeah.
But you don't want that to cause a rift between you and your current.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I could see that happening really easy.
Yeah, that's a slippery slope and a tricky balance. And that's, that's where it's
That's one of those where, as an example, if kids weren't involved in that situation,
nope.
Motherfucker, don't come around here.
Right.
Because I know you got one thing on the mind.
Yep.
That's it.
So, yeah, and that's what I'm saying, like, and it happens, and that's, part of the should you aspect of it. Should you still remain friends? Well, yes, you want your children to know that their parents can be civil, but at the same time, you also want your children to understand, what marriage is and what commitment is, and not, well, it's okay to be with both of these guys because, that's your, other parent, and, this is the one I'm with now, and we'll just make it one giant, big, happy family. I don't know. I mean, I guess it takes a bigger person than me. I see, Hollywood, the actors and actresses and all that. Oh, they're, they've been divorced and remarried on both sides, and they're all one big, giant, happy family. I'm like, I bet those Christmases are awkward.
Yeah.
Like, you can put on this smiling face for the cameras and all this, and I'm just like, what are those dinner table conversations like?
Right.
I'm like, I do not know. I just know. I wanted you out of my business, so why would I invite you back into my business?
Right.
That's just my opinion, though. So, I mean, there are studies that show both ways. And I think on that, it depends on how they're wanting the study to go. Are you wanting to say it's okay, or are you not? Because we'll find it either way.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's kind of just so flip-floppy and flimsy. But I don't know. I mean, it seems to work out, at least in my situation, for the most part. I'm not by any means saying that it's perfect, and that it's easy, because it's not. And like I said, we've reiterated so many times, if it wasn't for my children, would not have happened.
Right.
I would have just said, bye-bye. Do not let the door hit you, or the good Lord split you. See ya. But, and it wasn't right away. Like I said, it was at least a year before I was at a point where we can be civil and talk this out. I don't feel like every time I look at your face, I just want to rip your eyeballs out and shove them up your nose.
Right.
So, at least there's that. But it takes time. And it takes a will and a want. I mean, because if it's not something that you're willing to do, it's not something that you're willing to go the distance on, then, don't do it.
Right.
Hang on 1 second here. We've had someone say, if a friendship is strong enough, then a failed relationship would not damage that friendship, even without kids. If you can agree that you just get along better as friends, then by all means do it. There doesn't have to be drama. I mean, I guess so. But I think when it's a split, especially, I mean, if it was an amicable split, maybe, but if it was a contentious, I guess you would say, split, maybe not hateful, but a little bit of like, I'm just done with you. I don't know. If there weren't kids involved, why would you put that extra effort into it? Because I would figure like, what? It didn't work. It went too far, and sometimes when you take things too far or past a certain point, what we call the point of no return, there is no going back. Yeah, you were friends, and then you decided to kick it up a notch, be in a relationship, that blows up in your face, then what? I think it's a lot... For me, the decision would be a lot easier. I mean, without kids, I'm not going to put myself through it. Because there's a whole lot you have to get over. I'm not saying that years down the road you couldn't be friends again. But it's going to take time. Because, like we said in the beginning, you have to be able to grieve. You have to. It is a loss.
Okay,
it is a death.
So say that again. If there's no children involved, you could be friends if the friendship was strong enough to begin with?
Yeah. Hang on.
After a failed relationship? Is that what you're saying?
Hang on. Let me get back there. Hang on. What is that? Stop.
Well,
Guitar messages. I'll find it.
If that's what you're getting at, I mean, I don't know. If the friendship was strong enough to begin with, you would survive a failed relationship.
If the friendship is strong enough, then if you were super, super good friends, like besties, and you got into a relationship and it failed, it's saying it shouldn't damage that friendship.
I disagree.
It's going to be damaged because you're hurt now.
Yeah.
I mean, there are feelings.
Once you make that leap from friendship to more, and you're either in it for the long haul or it's going to crash and burn. There's no going back to that. There cannot be a friendship strong enough.
Right.
No matter what, just the basis of human nature.
Yeah. There's going to be way too many hurt feelings.
And not just that, but
and not that you could.
Why would I fool myself into thinking that it could?
And not that, not that you couldn't ever be friends again, but to say that it wouldn't damage that friendship, it's definitely going to damage it. I mean, because if you've been in a relationship and it's broken, it's going to damage anything that was previous. Not to say you can't fix damages, which is what we kind of been talking about.
Right.
But it's going to be damaged. It's just inevitable that hurt feelings cause damage. So, I mean, you could have been friends for 100 years, dated for a month. You're still going to have a laundry list of things you're going to have to work through.
Well, because you've learned more about your friend.
Yeah.
That
you may or may not like.
Now, whatever it is that you don't like that's caused this thing to fall apart, now, either they know something about you or you know something about them. It ain't worth it now.
Yeah.
There's just too much opportunity there. No, I wouldn't do anything like that. Not if there weren't kids involved. That is too much of a headache. It's not worth it.
Yeah, apparently it's worked out for him. He says, myself and, I won't mention another name on here, but one of very close friends tried dating for a year. It didn't work out, and we are still great friends.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
It's fine.
But how much time did that take before you decided, you know what, okay, we can be friends again, and let's just leave it at that?
Right.
Or was it an amicable breakup? I mean, if it was an amicable breakup, then okay, nobody's got hurt feelings. You've just decided to go different directions.
Right.
But if, like I'm saying, if there is a breakup that has caused hurt feelings, then that's where there's going to be issues.
Right.
And then there are certain people out there that just have a capacity to either let shit go or they just flip a switch, which is kind of scary itself, to be able to just flip a switch and be like, I don't like you, or I like you again. Like, that's borderline sociopath.
That's very civil.
Well...
Sybil, not civil.
Oh, I thought you said civil.
No,
I was like,
Sybil.
no, that's Sybil.
Sybil.
Yeah, that's a little sociopathic. I'm not saying that it's impossible to be friends with someone that you've had a relationship with. I just think you have to have the motivation to do it.
Right.
And for me, the motivation is my kids. Always has been, always will be.
Right.
For the sake of my kids, my grandkids and all that, I would walk over coals so, I can handle a conversation now and then.
Right.
And be friendly. Doesn't mean, we're going to go out, boating or fishing, but,
right.
And things will never be as they were.
Right.
Even being friends for a whole lot of years, even, doing that, it's never going to be the same after a failed relationship.
Right.
Because you've got that hurt. You've got that, everybody's dirty laundry at that point. Maybe stuff you didn't know when you were friends, and then you get into a relationship and living together or whatever, and then you're like, oh, well, hello, skeletons. And that's hard to go back from as well, and on both parts.
Right.
So, I mean, that's just crazy. And then I do want to say, that it also takes a special person to, if that's your new spouse or whatever, it takes a pretty special one to be okay with the fact that you get along with your ex. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Without jealousy and stuff like that, or, suspicions and craziness.
Well, that's human nature.
Right.
Suspicion, jealousy.
Right.
I would just expect it.
Yeah. you know,
I mean,
and yeah, then I did, and it's not nearly as bad as my brain made it out to be, I guess, because I'm thinking the worst, like, oh god, it's going to be World War III, it's going to be this, you know, heads clashing all the time, and there are still moments, but for the most part, you know, because we all want what's best for the kids,
right?
all of us, you know, and that to me is worth a lot. It's worth its weight in gold just to make sure my kids are happy. Now that doesn't mean I'm going to be like, okay, well, let me just take another punch to the eye so you can have this. No, that's not how that works, because we've already discussed that.
No,
it doesn't matter. Like, if you were in the bad relationship, then the kids don't need to see that either. So even if you have kids, it's not conducive to be friends.
Right.
It's not. And, you know.
Well, if somebody was in an abusive relationship, you know, I can't imagine the next person in line, you know, putting up with that. I mean, oh, he used to knock you around, did he? Well, you know, pick on somebody your own size, motherfucker.
Right. You know, and it's not always physical abuse either.
Right.
You know, kids don't need to see that manipulation and stuff is a way of life. Oh, this is a thing we can use?
Yeah.
You know? And,
you know,
I
when
think...
I cry, I get my way?
Right?
Yeah, well.
If I just stare at you and pout long enough or throw a tantrum in a hissy fit, yeah.
Right.
Or, you know, just say a million sorries until you finally are like, get out of my face! You know, just go! But, yeah, I'm...
Then you find out later you gave them just what they wanted.
Right, and then you get mad. And you get mad. Been there.
Yep.
When my daughter was, you realize you just gave him what he wanted. I'll be a son of a... Damn it!
Oh, damn it.
But that won't happen again, and it didn't. Because I went, aha! Got me once. So,
well, several times.
Yeah. But, what, Bama? I'm allowed to talk. He just looked up at me like, what? So, ouch! It's my foot! Cow. But, yeah, hopefully we'll get the video lives on with the Patreons and stuff like that, and then on those days where I bring this gorgeous puppy in, everyone will be able to see him.
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure, because that's something I guess we're doing now is the Patreons, where if, I think it's, what is it, a donation? Or a sponsorship or something like that. And then you can see all the behind-the-scenes stuff. You can find out more information on that on Geek Public Radio. I'm still new on the ins and outs of that.
Yeah, I am too.
At this point, it's like, okay, well, we're going to get back on the air. And
apparently there's a Patreon somewhere.
Yeah.
You can go to that.
Yeah,
do
that
whatever
you
the
can
hell
see,
you want, or whatever
you know,
the Patreons do there. I don't know.
Well, it's, I guess, to get behind-the-scenes footage and different, like discounts
footage?
on merchandise and...
Oh, well, okay, saving money. That's
yeah,
fine.
Saving money's good. And different things like that, which...
It's like spend $2 here to save 10% there or something. I don't know.
Well, that, and he's got some new merch coming that's, it's labeled I'm a Horrible Person, which I totally want one of the phone cases that says I'm a horrible person.
That's for the Saturday show.
Yeah, but it's still fun. It's still going to be on GPR.
Yeah.
We'll come up with something else. But yeah, it's just, you know, lots of cute things and fun details, and get to see us spaz out and, you know, say a lot of things we're not allowed to say on air. So, not without getting trouble. So,
yeah, I don't have much of a filter.
No, I don't. And it's really hard for me to, like, bring it down because the F-bomb is my favorite word next to twat waffle. So, yeah. But I like douche canoe, too.
Yeah.
That's a fun one. But what we'll do now is we'll go on ourselves a quick break.
Oh, God, I'm not going there.
And then...
yeah, we'll take a break.
Yeah, we'll take a break, and then when he composes himself, we will come back and squirrel around some more.
Never mind.
I am a little out of breath, chasing my puppy around, and had to go down the stairs to unlock the door at the station, and he saw the stairs, and although he ran up them today, he had decided he was not going down them, so he laid on his stomach and was like, nope. So, if you're listening, dear, when you come to pick him up, it should be an epic adventure of carrying the dog down the stairs. Did you lose your button?
Yeah, I lost my button. I had a good one for him laying down, but...
Yeah, he was not having it. You're not getting Smarties, so back off. No. Jeremy already gave you Smarties. You're not getting any more.
Give him some sugar.
Straight up.
He'll be fine.
But it doesn't make him any smarter. I mean, that part failed.
My hypocrisy goes only so far.
No, Bammy.
I believe he's feeling capital right now.
Yeah, he's like, why can't I have more? You're beautiful, big old meathead, but no. No more.
I always was going to go Rottweiler and name it Meat.
Yeah.
Just Meat.
Well, I said I should have named him Meathead. That's what I
Yeah.
call him all the time. I mean, he was, even as a puppy, his head and his feet were so big. The first time I took him to the vet, he's this tiny little 5-pound puppy. He's like, he's going to be 200 pounds if he's a dime. And I was like, oh, I'm like, another job just to feed him. Excuse me, can I work at PetSmart, please?
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
Well, considering, and I told him, I said, well, the end of the first year, I was like, well, he's about 125. I said, he's kind of, long and lanky, looking. Just got that good, solid build, but not big. And he's like, well, that's because the first year is they just get taller, and the second year they put on the meat. And I was like, oh, damn.
Right.
Oh, by the way, Jeremy was feeding him Smarties.
I already heard.
He loved him.
I heard about the cookies, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit.
Yeah, I'm a little upset I didn't get a fucking cookie.
You don't get no fucking cookies. What?
Damn it.
Oh, no, those aren't the wafers.
No, these are the windmill cookies.
They're what?
They're called the almond windmill cookies.
Almond windmill
Yeah.
cookie.
Oh.
Almond windmill? What?
Yep, there you go. Now we're going
What witchcraft
See,
is this? Oh,
man-
these are those things
Yeah,
you
the
had the
man
other
cave.
day. ain't
Yeah,
you?
the man cave does beer. We do cookies and candy. It's fine. I'm good with
I'm
it.
fine with it. Shit.
So yeah, hi, buddy. No, good luck trying to get down the stairs. When I went down there to unlock the door just so you could come in, he went all the way back by my office door and just laid flat on his stomach and was like, "Nope."
We'll go down one way or the other.
I had to drag him down last time. I thought maybe if I was down at the bottom, he'd come to me. He's like, "Nope." It's not. We couldn't even get him down with Doritos last time. So yeah. Good
We
luck.
need to get this business done quickly.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, we're at the point now where we've talked about it, so it's like I told you before. I was like, well, we got enough content for maybe an hour and a half show, not a 2-hour show. So now we're just gonna talk about cookies.
Nah. What else you got?
What do you mean?
I don't know. You got a little half-hour topic? Come on.
Probably not without pissing people off.
It's only a half hour. How much damage can we do in a half hour?
By saying, is it appropriate for people to have really good friends of the same sex and it be okay, and people not be running their mouths, and other people not being completely jealous over shit that's just friendship? I could piss a whole lot of people off in 30 minutes.
Yeah, I believe we could.
So how about we find something else? You said, how can I piss people off? Well, let me just tell you. That is exactly how I would do it. And I would do it with flair. And I wouldn't even mean to. It would just happen. So, other than that, I mean, the only other thing I've had going on, like I said, has been working with the business stuff that we've got started. What's that?
So,
My son being an emo.
oh yeah?
Sitting in a dark room with nothing on because he's mad at me because I didn't bring him up here.
Well, wasn't he asleep when you come up here?
No, he was up and
No, he was
dressed.
hiding in his room. That's
Yeah.
what it was. Well,
Well, and I love him, and I'm glad he's listening. But son, you got to come out of that room more often. There's more life outside of there.
you know, we used to have to go into Olivia's room just to check and see if she was still alive because she'd only come down to, use the bathroom.
That's what Lillian does, my
Like,
niece.
twice a day.
Yeah,
I mean, it's the teenager.
it is, but it's like, he puts blankets up over his windows so it's all dark in there, like pitch black dark, and he'll stay in there all day long.
Yeah, I'm not really seeing a problem. I mean,
And
I'd probably do the same
if I
thing.
go somewhere without him, then he gets mad. I've got in the fridge in there, honey. There's
Well, you should have texted him.
no. I'm not gonna fucking text him from the living room.
Teresa actually has texted Olivia upstairs before, and I was like,
I have.
"What did you just do?"
I have. I've done it.
She's texting me from the bedroom.
I mean that's not quite the
In
laziest
my
thing
defense,
I'd
I
ever
had the
seen,
baby
which was
asleep on my chest, and I wasn't gonna move.
Somebody made a phone call from outside a house to call their wife to have her bring something out to him.
I bet
I was
that was
like,
you.
No, that was not me. I was like, that was the laziest thing I've ever seen in my life. That was Tony.
Oh.
She's texted me from the bedroom, which is next door to the
Yeah.
living room.
It's right off the living room.
Now
I had
that's
the baby.
lazier.
I wasn't gonna yell.
That's lazier.
Oh,
That's totally lazier.
oh.
The only other time was when I was sick.
You were doing dots.
Well, yeah, that
I was
makes
busy.
sense. That makes sense.
I was busy. There was a lot involved in that crap. You're not getting any more. You mad at me because Daddy's here to take you home?
So
You tried to eat the stand over there. That's not okay. What? All right, I can talk to my husband for a half hour.
Come on, give me something. What's left?
I don't know.
What's left? No, have we covered this? So we've decided whether they can or can't still be friends.
Like we said, we both came to the same conclusion of it's not really worth it to put yourself out there again unless there are children involved that you need to set a precedence for.
Right. This is like the new hazard of the live show is, because we'll run out of topic.
Yeah.
Or we don't on the podcast. But.
Well, because I thought we'd argue a lot more than what we have.
We can argue if you want to argue. We can get in a screaming match.
No,
I don't care.
I'm good. But, it's just... I
know that'd probably make some people happy.
Well, yeah, probably. But I think that, like I said, if there are not kids involved and there's no reason to have to keep in contact with somebody, it's probably healthier not to. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm just saying it's probably healthier.
Right.
Hey. When there are kids involved, though, you kind of have to make concessions.
Right.
You have to say, okay, it's not about just me anymore. It's not about just you anymore. We've got a tiny human involved in this situation, or humans.
Right.
So I think that's where that is.
Yeah.
That big old brat dog. What is that? Oh, it's him dinging.
Damn it, Jim.
Right? But, okay. But yeah, I think if, you can just let him go, hon. Kids are the reason that I would say, yes, absolutely make the effort. I think if there aren't kids involved, why in the hell would you make an effort? If you don't want to be with that person in a relationship and you want them out of your face, why would you go back and say, hey, let's be friends if we don't have to?
Right.
I mean, I guess it depends, like the one listener said, I guess it does depend on how strong your friendship was and you think, I really want to get back to that. Maybe. I don't think I could.
No, I don't think I could either. I mean,
but some people can.
Honestly, I don't know
some
that
people
I'd
have a
want
capacity
to.
to compartmentalize.
Though, I don't know that I'd want to. If there was no kids involved, I mean, unless it was, like we talked about earlier, an extenuating circumstance of the breakup. I mean, if there were no hurt feelings, maybe. I mean, maybe. I guess I could kind of see it, but still, then you would know so much about that other person, and they'd know so much about you. I don't know. I don't know if I could.
It would definitely change it. It would definitely change
it wouldn't
friendship.
be. It wouldn't. Yeah. Yes, definitely.
Because it could never go back to what it was.
No, it couldn't.
No matter how much you wanted it to, it just could not.
Right.
It's not because no matter how you go, it would be damage.
Right.
What are you doing, buddy? Sit down. There would definitely be damage, to that friendship as well as the relationship. I mean, because if the relationship ended, the friendship is taking a hit to the eye. It's got a black eye now. So there's going to be damage. Not to say that damage can't be fixed, not to say that damage can't be worked on, but it's going to be there.
Right.
And that's something that is always going to be there. There's always going to be a stain on it.
Right.
On that relationship. You can, there are workarounds. And like I said, there are some people, God love them, that can compartmentalize and just say, you know what, I take all these bad things and I put them in a box and I lock the key and I throw it away.
Right.
In my luck, I'd do that and that box would just bust open one day and the person who did not cause me all the pain would reap all the benefits of it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You just hold it, and then snap on somebody that had
nothing to do with it.
Nothing in this. No dog in the hunt. They weren't even there. It was 50 years before.
Been there.
And then all of a sudden it's yeah. That's not fair. And it's not healthy to compartmentalize.
Right.
I've been there, done that, and I work really hard not to. I work really hard now where if you piss me off, I'm going to tell you right now, you have pissed me off. Because I used to just bottle it all down. Don't make waves. Mm-hmm. Don't make waves. Bottle it down, until I became a psychopath. I would just snap on somebody for looking at me wrong for no reason when it should have been someone else I snapped on.
Right.
So I've learned,
as I got... That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Psycho. As I got older, it's, you know what? No. I'm going to snap on the one. If you stepped on my toe, you're the one I'm going to snap on. Because it wasn't anybody else's fault. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to be nasty to anybody else around me. They're not going to have to deal with that, but I will come for you. Mm-hmm. And right now, and as far as relationships go, I could not be friends with someone that, like I said, if there wasn't a kid involved, because that's how I would always feel. You hurt me, so I'm coming for you.
Right.
Or you hurt me or I hurt you, so we're always going to wait for that other shoe to drop for the one-upmanship of, well, I hurt you worse, even though we're just friends.
Right.
There's too much there. I just, like I said, again, personally, I don't think it'd be worth it.
Yeah.
I think it would be more hurt, trust issues, way too many, just to be friends with an ex that's
Right.
not, okay, that's the mother or father of my child. That puts a whole nother set of circumstances on shit.
Yeah.
So.
Well, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk about how to do it with, or how would be good ways to proceed with, keeping a friendship when you have children involved.
Okay.
Maybe some
Yeah, we'll go with
some
that.
lines or something like that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Be right back right after.
Alrighty, and we are back for our last segment here on this subject we're talking about on post-relationship friendship, yay or nay. Oh, God, sorry, I got a big old dog in my lap. He thinks he can fit in this chair, and it's not. But we decided we're going to talk about the, if you've decided when you do have kids and you want to make a friendship work, how to do that. Well, I guess that depends. Each situation is going to be different, but I think that,
There's gonna be a lot of variables in each relationship.
Get out.
A lot of it being, the circumstances under the ending of the relationship.
Yes.
That's
really going to be the biggest one, that you have to contend with. I mean, it was either, okay, let's do this, or I don't care what you say, get out. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Feelings have got to be dealt with.
Yeah.
You can't just ignore them, whether that requires an outside source, i.e., a therapist, whatever, someone to talk to that's not involved in any way. Some people do, some people don't. That's up to you. That's a personal choice. But either way, you're going to have to resolve the issue, which means let yourself grieve. Let yourself be sad. It's okay. It's a loss. It's okay to feel sad about it. And you're going to go through, all these different things. You're going to go through, denial and anger and depression, all the, all the signs of, the stages of grief you're going to have. And at that point, when you get to a place where you're like, okay, it's over. I woke up and I could still breathe. I'm okay again. Then you can start talking about, okay, we can work on a friendship or at least civility. I mean, even when you're going through grief, you're going to have to be civil if you have kids, because there's going to be pick-up and drop-offs. If it becomes a situation where, you're not ready to be friends and the other one is really pushing towards that, what I would do is have a middleman, I guess, to, take the kids to the pick-up and drop-off. Mm-hmm. Because if you're not ready and you're not healed, it's not going to get any farther, because you're going to be stuck in that place of not healed.
Yeah.
Because if you, mid-process decide, what, let's say we're friends. Okay, but then you're still dealing with all this stuff while trying to put on a brave face. And again, we say compartmentalize, and then you're going to blow your stack at one point, and it might be something stupid.
Right.
That normally you just be like, okay, whatever. But this time it's like, nope. I'm going to melt everything in my path.
Everything's all bottled up. Might as well blow it up.
Yep. And that's not going to be good for anybody, because it normally would happen in front of the kids, and that's not what you want to do.
Right.
So definitely give yourself time, and don't let yourself be made to feel guilty because you are taking the time. Mm-hmm. Everybody has their own rate of healing, and everybody doesn't, you can say, okay, this is done. I'll be civil to you, but I don't want to be your friend.
Right.
And that's okay, too.
Mm-hmm.
If you say, you know what, I will deal with you for the kids, and that's it.
Being friend and being friendly are two entirely different things.
Right. You can be civil. Civility and being friendly. Basically what I say, putting on your customer service face.
Yeah, I don't have one of those.
Yeah, I know. Everyone that knows, My husband does not have one either. When he decided he was going to, go for a customer service type job, I laughed until I almost peed my pants. I love you, but it's not your strong point. You can't always, if you can't put the customer service face on, number one, you need to work on it more because you're going to need it.
Yeah.
But don't ever jump into it just because one party in the relationship or your kid, says, hey, you need to be friends. Don't be guilted if you're not ready, or if you simply just don't want to. Don't be guilted into it. Say, I'll be civil and I can be friendly, but it doesn't mean I'm anyone's friend.
Right.
Don't get it twisted. Friendly does not mean I'm your friend. And the way you act around someone will tell them whether you are their friend or not.
Right.
So I mean, that's really, like, I don't know how much else to tell people. Like, how do you think to go about it? Because I'm the woman.
Slowly,
I'm always
methodically, and carefully.
I'm the woman that's all about the feelings and all that. But
when it comes to, like with children involved, say it's, the end of a relationship, there's children involved, you have a responsibility to be civil because of the kids, because the kids need to be insulated from everything.
Right.
If the other person's not capable of doing that, then you need to do that for both of you. Don't lash back out. Don't act the ass. Just keep
even
your mouth
when it's
shut.
hard.
Yeah. Even when it's hard, just let it roll off. And because kids will remember that
right.
shit. They will.
In the same token, I think if it's something that's major and that keeps, basically a multi-time offender or whatever of the same issues, yeah, you can keep it bottled up in front of the kids, but I do think it's something that you need to set aside as adults and talk about it, like, look, this is crossing the line, or this is very hurtful.
Oh, yeah, but you don't do that in front of the kids.
Never
you
in front
blow
of the
their
kids.
fucking hair back afterwards.
Yeah. Never in front of the kids.
No.
Because they're what's important in those situations.
Right.
I mean, it's just, it really boils down to if you're willing or not. Because it doesn't matter if you have 1 kid or 12 kids. If you're done, you're just done.
Yeah.
And at that point, it's you'll be lucky if I'm civil. Civil or civil, your choice. Depends on how the day's going to go.
Sometimes they go hand in fucking hand.
Yeah, it does. And hard. And some days it's hard to struggle back on one or the other.
Right.
And nobody's perfect. Everybody's going to flub up. So don't, just because, you have a rocky meeting the first couple times after you decide, don't take that as okay, this just is going to work. You have to realize that you're turning, it's one of those things where I don't want to say that because that's rude, but like polishing a turd, it's still a turd, but you're taking something old and trying to make it new.
Polishing a Harley. That's more accurate.
No, hey! No. But you're taking...
Look at the look I'm getting. That's great.
You're taking something old and trying to make it new again. And that's very hard to do, especially when there are a lot of dents and dings and scrapes to work out. Because in the relationship, you have beat the snot out of each other, basically, emotionally. So you've got to deal with that. It's just going to be a long road. I don't want anybody to think, oh, yeah, we can do it. And as soon as we split up, oh, we're going to be great. We're going to be friends again.
No, 'cause more often than not, it won't work than it will work.
Right.
More often than not.
Right. Because there's going to be hurt feelings. And then there's, okay, we're just friends. Well, then when someone moves on from that relationship and gets into another relationship, then there's all kinds of hurt feelings and jealousies and all this and the other part, which completely blindsides you because you're like, okay, but we were just friends, so why are you jealous? Why are you yelling at me? Why are you mad? Like,
right.
That's, I don't know. Been there, done that. So I don't think that anybody should think that you have to be friends after a relationship, but I also don't want somebody to think that you can't be.
Right.
It's all very circumstantial. To each his own. If you think you can handle it, then go for it. If you're already pretty fragile, I don't think I'd put myself in that situation.
Right.
Like, no little delicate flower should be trying to handle X's and currents and all this at the same time.
Yeah, it just sounds like a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, you better be a good multitasker. And the thing with that, too, is
I
don't
know about multitasker. I mean, you ought to just... What it boils down to is honesty.
That's what I was just going to say. You got to be honest.
Honesty will alleviate itself.
It's so much easier. It's so much easier to be honest than to tell even a tiny lie, because then you have to try and remember what you said, what you did, who you said it to. Just tell the truth, and it's the same to everybody.
Oh, well, he didn't say that. He said this and that, and well, he really said that. Okay.
Or when people make stuff up to try to make themselves look better and get the upper hand in a relationship. I can't stand that. And that's, you don't want to do that if you're trying to get back to being friends, because let me show you right now, it will not work for you.
Right.
Because if it's constant, like we said earlier, constant one-upsmanship, that's not a relationship. That's sure as hell not a friendship. It's not even a relationship. Like, no.
Yeah.
It's not healthy at all. You know, I have to get the last word, my insult has to be bigger and better, and...
I gotta have the last word. Yeah, I know you do. I do. Yeah, I know you do. I do. Yeah, I know you do. I do. Yeah, exactly.
For hours.
Yeah.
Hours you'll do that.
Yep.
Or you'll turn to get the flip off to your back, you know. One of those. But, I mean, it's... Everybody out there has exes. Everybody out there has currents. And a lot of those people have children. So, I mean, for this many humans on the planet, I don't think it's, unfair to say, hey, plenty of them are going to be friends again, or, at least for the sake of the children. But that doesn't mean that, like, when the children are grown, you still have to be friends. Like,
right.
Once it's to a point, like, dude, they've graduated college. Like, I said I'd be friends until, or at least friendly. Doesn't mean you have to be friends afterward. You can be just like, okay, and now here's where I go. I've been waiting 18 years. I mean, but that's not friends. If that is your idea on it, then that's not friends. That's civility. There is a difference from being civil to being friends.
Well, and a big part of it too is I think you have to be true to yourself. Yeah. In all aspects on it too.
That's why I was saying you take the time to heal. You take what you need. You have got to make sure that your heart is okay before you open any other doors. Mm-hmm. Because you're just opening yourself up to kick it to the teeth.
Right.
They hurt you once. Who's to say they're not going to do it again? You have to, not only heal, but you have to protect yourself.
Right.
So I think, rushing right back into a friendship is not protecting yourself at all. It takes time. And that's, they say time heals all. I don't know, but it sure can make transitions a little smoother.
I find it's easier to purify everything with fire first.
Yeah, well, sometimes, I don't look good in orange, and I don't look good in horizontal stripes.
They got to catch you first.
Yeah, I know, but I got short legs. I can't run that fast.
It's only illegal if you get caught.
Yeah, I know, but still, you set a fire, it tends to get attention. Why is the fire trucks at Mom's house? I don't know. We're just going to pretend it didn't happen. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't think, anybody needs to feel forced one way or the other. That's one of the big things. I don't think you should feel forced into being a friend after you've been more than friends. I think if you're ready and you want to, that's fine, but I don't think, peer pressure, because it's all the same big friend group, or the ex or whatever keeps pushing you, or your kids keep pushing you, friends. You don't have to be. Right. You have the right to be hurt. You have the right to be angry, and you have the right to protect yourself. If you choose to later on, that's on you. And kudos to you, and go for it. But if you don't, that's still okay. Mm-hmm. You don't have to be friends with your ex. You can be, and that's fine. But you don't have to be.
Right.
If you just want to be that asshole that says, look, I'll deal with you at visitation and that is it, that's not really being an asshole. That's just protecting yourself.
Right.
You don't want to, because yourself, like, if you know that you've just got a soft spot for this person, and no matter what they say or do, you're always going to have those feelings, then it's best for you not to try and be friends. Yeah. Because your brain and heart's like, oh, there's always the chance, even when there's not. So you're just setting yourself up to fall. Yeah. So I guess what I'm saying is, if you've ended a relationship and you're thinking, can we be friends and all that, these are things that you need to think about. Everybody, it's an individual thing. You have to figure out what's good for you. Because if you let yourself get hurt, that's not showing your kids anything good. Right. They're showing your kids it's okay to be hurt as long as you make other people happy. And that's not where you want to be. Right. Because then you wind up being 44 years old and figuring out what the fuck you want in your life. Because you're finally done making everyone else happy. You don't want to do that. Just, you have to inner reflect, which is why I tell you need at least a year to figure it out. Because you need to figure out yourself at that point. Because it is a form of starting over. You're out of this long-term relationship, and you got to figure out what to do with your life before you can figure out, I don't need to worry about you anymore. I got to fix me. Right. Then maybe we'll think about the you aspect of it. And if that person really does want to be friends, then they're going to understand that, and they're going to back up a little bit
Right.
and let you have your space. If they're pushing you and not letting you have your space, that is another level of control, and that's a whole other show. We've been there, done that show.
I thought we already done that one.
Yeah, we did that one. But, I think within just the last few words, and we can play a couple songs or whatever if you want, but, it's basically a respect yourself kind of issue.
Right.
Whether you want to be friends with a past lover, relationship, ex-husband, wife, whatever, that's a very personal choice. I hope we've helped you with just, some examples of how you might do that, or, the traps of don't step into this one if you don't want poop in your face. But, that's it. And so, until next time, have a great time, guys.
Good night.